Hello, hello, it's Jamie. I am off to the races with a new quilt. This time I am using the panel and collection called the Marsh. But before I get going, I would like to thank Estelle Center for Creative Arts for sponsoring this video and also for inviting me to teach there in July of 2026. There's a class open. If you're interested, I'll have the link for you in the description. The Marsh collection is also the quilt challenge that I have out there. My community is joining in on the fun, and if you're interested in joining in, those QR codes will take you to the fabric. You can also go to my website and look for challenges, and you'll find all the information. So the first thing I did was just to pin up the 2 yards of fabric, one being the 6-inch squares and one being the panel, and I stared at them. And then I started cutting the panel into strips, and then, or not the panel, the blocks into strips, and then I cut the blocks out, and I pinned them all up on the wall alongside of the panel. I also treated myself to some new cherry wood colors that worked splendidly with this panel. Of course, I backed up and stared at it from a distance. And then there's always that chance that I could work a face into a quilt. So I had to audition this guy. Not sure he's going to make it, but it was fun to tack him up there. So I didn't really know where to start, even after staring at the yardage for, days. I mean, not all day long, of course, but I kind of went with what popped in my head a couple of times, and that was to try and do some kind of tree that maybe related to the trees that you see in the back of the pond there, where they have the bright leaves, and then they have the black trunks and branches. So I did what I have been doing, and that is I stacked all the squares and cut them all together, and now I'm inserting the black strips. And I'm hoping to create some variation here so that they're not all identical. So maybe some of the strips will be narrower, some of them might be pointy, but at this point I kind of like how it looks, so I am just going to keep going. Yes, and right here I realized I did not put the trunk in. I'm like, what the heck? So do I rip it? If you know me by now, you're gonna guess no, I'm not gonna rip it. I'm gonna leave it because maybe I can use it that way. So let's try another one. And this is where I decide I'm going to start chain piecing these characters. So that's what I'm doing now. And now I'm going to jump ahead for you and we're going to trim the blocks. And here you can see this block is too small to trim, so I just set it aside for now. I can add to it later or use it smaller. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Just keep moving forward. And there's the one without the trunk. Looks like I did that twice. So I'm going to set those all together because they're all smaller than the other blocks. And we'll just see if they work out together later. I'm liking how this looks. Next, I put them on the design wall and I'm like, too strong. Love the colors, love the concept, don't love the execution. But instead of struggling with it, I just move on to the next step and just let that sit for now. Maybe an idea will come to me later. If I start getting all tangled up in it, that can be a creativity killer. So I take another section of the panel and I match up the coordinates with it. And then I eliminate these two. And then I proceed. So I'm liking how this looks. And then I decide to do it with the next part of the panel. So I match up actually two parts of the panel, the strips with the squares. So now I have the strip that I cut into a couple of chunks and I have the squares. And truly, truly at this point, I do not know what I'm going to do. So I just start rearranging and arranging and end up putting kind of the greens together, because if I look at that strip, you know, the greens are together at the bottom, and then the oranges and the blues are together. So that's how I that's how I divided them. And here you see me just falling back on my same method that I use all the time. And so I am not going to make you watch this, because if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've seen me do this, you know, hundreds of times. And I have decided to chain piece here as well. Just kind of makes the process run a little faster, a little smoother, save a little thread. Now I am blending those strips of the panel with these blocks that I just pieced. A little eeny, meeny, miny, moe here, I think. And here you can see a bit of the longer strip. Haven't put it on the design wall yet, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not. Here I have moved on to the top of the panel, and I've decided to do something just a little bit different. I'm actually just using I created some blocks the same way I've been doing, and then I'm cutting them into strips, and I'm inserting them into the top of the panel. Well, here they are on the design wall. Some parts I love, some parts not so much. And I am sitting with it, staring at it. I still don't like those first blocks I made, so I interspersed some other fabrics in there to soften it, and I've started playing with the bottom now. It's been quite a while since I haven't made a quilt with a face in it, so this is really rather fun for me. And it's taking me down a little bit of a different road, which is always a nice adventure. And speaking of adventures, a trip to Colorado to visit the Estelle Center would be amazing. I can recommend it because I did it last year. And so I want to thank them once again for sponsoring this video. It makes a big difference in keeping this site alive. So thank you, Estelle Center. And a big thanks to each and every one of you that have watched this video, especially all the way to the end. You know that makes a big difference with the algorithm. So thanks, and I'll see you next week.